Welcome to the Pretty Lies and Ugly Truths. We are here where you can either die with the lie or
the truth will set you free.
All right. And I am the Alex E. Miller. And that voice of reason you just heard was
Toya vegan Mommania.
All right. And as we always do with Pretty Lies and Ugly Truths, we allow the guests to introduce themselves so you can let us know what we don't know, what we should know, what everybody else needs to know. You can take it away whenever you're ready.
Hey everyone, thank you again for having me on. This is Ashley Covarrubias. I am a female business owner and trying to just kind of push my my way through COVID like everyone else. So thanks for having me.
Gotcha. So I see you went ahead and pronounced it for us, you know, Ashley, because I was going to use a cheat code and say Ashley Runway.
That's cool too. That's easier. That's why I had to do that, because it's just, you know.
I got you.
For it every time.
Yeah. Covarrubias. What is it? I'm sorry, say it one more time for me.
Covarrubias.
Covarrubias. Okay, that's not bad.
Not bad, right?
Where does that come from? What is your nationality?
I'm from a Latin descent, so primarily Mexican, a little Spanish in there too.
Okay.
I noticed on your page, the first two words that you see in your profile, it says, "I produce events." You made "I produce" one word. You know what I'm saying? I like that.
Yeah.
And then it says events. So if you wouldn't mind, let us know exactly what type of events do you produce?
Well, pre-COVID, I was doing a lot of fashion shows. That's kind of like my signature thing. So my company, The Model Experience, was doing fashion shows pretty much on a quarterly basis. Like every big fashion week, we would do a big show here in LA at the convention center. We've had up to like 800 models walk in one event. We've had something like 60 designers. So my last company was just like a mega producer for fashion shows. Aside from that, I've had, clients come to me that are looking to do their own kind of thing. So I've done stuff for like Guess and BB as well. So I try to really brand myself as like the fashion show like go-to.
Okay. Yeah.
Real
I saw
quick.
That.
Oh, I'm sorry, Alex.
Go ahead, please.
I was just curious, like, I don't get to talk to a producer. Well, I know some, but I don't really get into it. What is it exactly do you do when you say you're producing these events? Like, what are your actual tasks that you do there?
That's a good question. So, like, producer is like, for me, like, you make shit happen and you kind of like bring it to life. So, a lot of people have ideas and that sort of thing, but like as producers, we like execute. So, starting from the ground level is like, permits. Like right now I'm working on so fast forward, I'm working on an outdoor movie theater.
Mm-hmm.
Outside cinema.
So for that, it's like, we need permits. We need fire department inspector. Okay. Now I need a floor plan. Oh shit, I need a floor plan. How do I make a floor plan?
Okay.
Now I need, a permit for a generator, like the things that people don't even.
Yeah, they just come sit down like, oh, this is nice. You're like, I went through a lot. Okay.
So I see that it looks like you actually worked with Kevin Hart and Heartbeat Productions before as well. If you wouldn't mind just expounding on that and how you're able to get into that room to be able to lend your services there as well.
Yeah, I think, what, that was the key word that you say is like getting in the room. I've kind of starting out, I've always kind of tried to get in the room with the right, people. And in doing so, I did things like this, like how you guys have a podcast. I had like a media outlet. So that gave me leverage to work with certain people. And now I was around those kind of people and I was getting invited to, that sort of thing. But on the work side, it's really about like the relationship. So with that one, I targeted someone. So this is the truth, right? This is the podcast. So the truth is that there's a cinematographer, a director, a cameraman And I had seen his work with the person I was working with at the time. We like found their work and we're like, damn, this guy's really dope. He works with Kevin Hart, you know, all these amazing people. We should hire him so that we can get close to his crew, because we're also like producers. So it's like producers need a director, directors need a producer. So sometimes it's just kind of like, you know, the one for one kind of thing. So so we ended up hiring him. We created this thing, we hired him, and we were able to build a relationship with this certain camera guy that then, you know, that grew. And finally, once he was able to like trust our work and my work as a producer, he asked me to come on for the Kevin Hart thing. Yeah. So that was like a long, you know, that was kind of like a long shot, but you know, as like an entrepreneur or producer, it's really about kind of planting those seeds and watering them.
Right.
Just because it doesn't, you know, pop off the first time or you don't sell out the first time, it doesn't mean that it's not going to happen, but you really got to like plant those seeds. Yeah. So fast forward, this is like my guy now. I'm so loyal to him. Any single event I do, he's hired. So, you know, now we have that camaraderie and now it's like, you know, a friendship basically, but that's kind of how that happened. So when I was in the room, I actually met someone else that I was like, okay, who's this person? He seems like he's in charge. You know, this is someone that I want to like bump shoulders with. And then I end up like working with him down the line by like planting a seed with him. So, you know, that's how that works.
I seen recently online, I thought it was like deep for real, especially with me trying to do what I'm doing. And it says networking can get you in places that degrees can't. It can't. And with you telling me your story, all I could think is that just networking, you know, someone with a degree may not even met that right person. You know what I mean? Like you might just, you know, so I just kind of heard the similarity with you or with your story. And I was like, yeah.
I think being strategic about your networking is also really important, because you can waste a lot of time and you know, maybe piss off a lot of people or seem desperate. That's like not what people want. It's be an asset for people, because people want to know, what can you do for me? What can I get out of you? So you really bring that to the table on the front, like, hey, check out my work, or let me volunteer on your set. I can't tell you how many hours of volunteering I have under my belt. Like even till this day, if it's the right situation, like maybe a charity thing, like, you know, I'll do it.
Exactly. Yeah. But like you said, strategic about it. That's key to it. Yeah, for real.
Speaking of being strategic, I see at one point you even hired a business coach. If you wouldn't mind just sharing some details on exactly what a business coach is, how you found the right one, what that cost, and what took place.
Yeah, that's my guy. Shout out to Chris Collins.
Chris Collins, okay.
So again, another seed that I kind of had planted. There was, you know, it's like, let me find the people that are at the level that I want to be at and try and just kind of poke at them and see, you know, what are they doing? What's their lifestyle like? What's their morning routine? How much are they hustling? Like, you know, how do I get there? So I planted the seed a while back with Chris, and then, you know, I'm consistent. I was kind of chipping at him for a little bit, and finally, he's a business coach for the automotive industry. He like flips over dealerships. And so he started this thing that was a lot more towards like entrepreneurs and small businesses. And so I got invited to be a part of his mastermind group. And so it was honestly the most epic thing I've ever done. I 100% recommend, you know, if you find a coach that's worth it, do it. Because number one, it's kind of like a cheat code. And then also it holds you accountable. So because I'm paying, you know, now I'm like, I need to deliver on my end. You know, I have someone waiting for me. You know, there's like a lot of accountability. So I started tapping into business coaching because now that I know what I know, you know, it's like, let me share this with other entrepreneurs, especially like I'm all about the minority, women owned, Latin owned, Black owned. I'm all for it. So like if I could extend my knowledge to that community, like why not? So right now I have a couple clients that I business coach. And one thing that I'll share is like one of the things that's really helped me that can probably help you and anyone listening to this. Again, another truth is what I call a 100-grand plan. So I think $100,000 is a really nice start off. It's a really nice goal for everyone, whether you're starting a business or you're just doing everything on your own. So basically, I would like everyone to grab their calculators.
Okay.
I already know these numbers, but I want you to see it. So if you take $100,000 and you divide that by 12, that's 8,333. But divide that by 30. So that's you only have to make $277 a day, $365 a day. But say you take Sunday and Monday off. What's that look like?
Right.
But when you're selling products or services, you can break that down. Okay, how many of these shirts do I have to sell a day to hit that?
Right.
Then you put your goal on steroids so that
10x.
Exactly. So you hit it.
Yeah. You got 10x everything. My personal trainer used to tell me that. So
you put this episode on OnlyFans. So goddamn, this one ain't for free.
But you know what? People who have OnlyFans, they could probably watch it and get some tips from it. They understand, like, okay, if I film this video this day, subscribe.
They gotta pay for this one, goddamn it.
So you hosted something called Her First Million Visualization. Her First Million Visualization with Amber Kuzar.
Research. I love it. So visualizing. Visualization is something that I love to do. I feel like since being a kid, I've always really been a dreamer. And anyone that's like in business has to be a dreamer of some sort. It's like you had this vision, you brought it to life. At some point you sat there and had this idea. And like everything starts with an idea. So if your idea is like pessimistic or your goal's really low, like that's what's gonna happen. But I really strongly believe that there's a lot to visualization. Like everything that I've done, I've imagined, so half of it is like mindset. And so basically my cousin and I, she's also an entrepreneur, we hosted this thing for women in business, and we had kind of like a Zoom, and we just went through like a meditation visualization kind of situation. And we talked about blocks, because that's one thing that people don't really talk about. It's all dreamy, but it's like, okay, when you have blocks, if you can identify them as blocks, because you already know. So everyone has blocks. It's like, what are your triggers? It could be your mom, it could be financial, it could be physical, like whatever your blocks are, right? Your boyfriend, whatever it is, so that when it happens, it doesn't like slow you down from business. You can identify it as like, oh, that's just a block, and you're emotionally like not attached to it.
Okay.
Because otherwise you're making decisions emotionally, and it's just like, you can't do business emotionally.
At all.
Never get anywhere with that.
Another truth.
Yes.
Damn, I'm giving you guys everything.
Oh, hey, we love it. We love it. But I mean, it wasn't always, peaches and cream, for you. You told a story or touched on a little bit about how you used to have to go in and out of class to find parking, and you actually asked somebody for money at a gas station. If you wouldn't mind just kind of diving into that, the emotions and how it applies to what we see now.
I think like maybe a few years ago, I was like really embarrassed of those things. And now I'm really like owning them and appreciating them, because I realized that like, I'm definitely not alone in that. Like I know there's a lot of people out there that can relate to sharing a 1-bedroom with their whole family, that can relate to running out of gas and not knowing what the fuck to do. Like,
right.
So I've been in a lot of those situations, single mom situation, and I've always been really ambitious, and she maybe didn't have the means to support my ambitious you know, thing for the day where it was like, I'm going to go to LA and I'm going to meet this person and I'm going to try this thing, and I'm going to give him a t-shirt, and, you know, just all these things. And that, you know, she maybe couldn't afford that, or I had to go figure it out. So I've just had to fucking figure it out. And I have definitely been at the gas station once or twice, like, yo, you got a couple bucks, I ran out of gas type thing.
Right.
Wow, I've done that a few times myself, and what's crazy is I've told people, I've been like, hey, like write my name down. I'm like, because like one day you'll be able to tell the story about giving me some money to get to, you know, the next point. And if we can link up, you can find me or I can find you. I guarantee you I'm going to give you more back than you gave me at this point, because, you know, you're like an investor. I look at that like anybody that helps us, they're like investors or shareholders, you know what I'm saying, to play a part in getting us, you know, wherever we're going to be in our lives. So
that's a good way to look at it, for sure.
I can relate to that.
And I definitely believe in like all the things that we've gone through definitely build us to be who we are. When we can sit and like get to where, especially where you're at, oh, I had to go through that because I'm strong now for this. You know what I'm saying? Because it takes a certain individual to deal with certain things anyways. And when you get there, you might, it's probably where you want to be, but you see still, there's still challenges that arise, you know what I mean? And you had to have gone through those things so you're ready for that bigger shit to deal with, you know?
I mean, I took a Greyhound from downtown LA to like Arizona to do this event, and it was a total shit show. But like, you know, looking back, I'm like, all right, I've had to go through that and sweat and cry and carry equipment and do all that just to figure it out. So
right. So when Dior calls you to come do some shit, and shit, because it's Dior doesn't mean something's not gonna happen. Yeah. You ready for that? They're like, bitch, you got the right one. Bitch, I done been on Greyhounds and all doing this shit. You call the right one. Yeah, so what you need me to do? You know, and you'll be able to definitely handle that. That shit builds character for sure, man. That shit builds you up. You got to always think like, okay, I'm getting ready. Especially for somebody like you that's going to keep going. You got to know, like, this is building me for that other shit. Like, I got more shit to come. I'm on my way. Yeah, that's dope. That's dope.
When stuff like that happened, did you have that mindset? I seen that you posted, it was a photo of something written on a whiteboard with a marker, where it was saying that changing the world is not 9 to 5. Is that something that came later on, or was it back even around that time when you were going through what you're going through? You knew that. When did you know that changing the world was not a 9 to 5?
You know what? I like eat, sleep, and breathe my business. Like, you know, if you date me, you date my business, basically. Like, so when I realized that was probably like 6 years ago, just because, you know, it's nonstop. I wake up, I start working, I take my break. It's a lifestyle, you know. I can make my breaks in between the day. I can go to dinners, I can work out, but it's basically a lifestyle, you know.
So you're basically, when someone's like, you want to go out to eat, you're like, can you hold this camera? Like, how about you just make a phone call or something real quick for me?
I always put my friends to work, so they hate it.
I can hear it already. Like, you're like, how about you? Well, first let's do this. And then we'll go out later, I guess.
Already, that's fun.
So how do you like what you saying that, and you seem like that person for sure, that's all you do is work. Like, how do you balance though the other things? Are you learning how to balance things? Are you winging it, or do you got it set?
No, that's definitely something I'm working on, is learning how to balance everything, because it's like, it's really about like finding the sweet spot, you know, where I love my work, and when I start something new, I'm super like all in and engulfed, but really I want to sit back, enjoy the, you know, fruits of my labor. I like to chill out. I like to travel, and, you know, like that's really what I want to do, is have a hold on my businesses, have really good leaders and structure to where, hey, Laysia, how's it going over there? Everything running good? What are the numbers today? You know, that's where I want to be. And that is going to require a lot of balance, but I'm not there yet.
Yeah. I don't think a lot of us are. it's weird when people are. It's like, what's wrong with you? How do you know what the hell you about to do every damn day? Like, something's going on. So I just, it's like when someone says, yeah, they're learning, I'm like, yeah, that's more natural. That's people, you know what I mean? We are learning every day because things change. Nobody expected coronavirus to come. You know what I mean? Like, nobody even knew, half people didn't know it existed. So it's so natural for someone like, yeah, I'm just learning.
It's crazy though. Like, especially me, I mean, I do events. My whole industry was basically taken out, you know, and now it's like we're starting from scratch, which I'm cool with. You know, there's a lot of opportunity in that too. It's like you kind of get to pave the way that's never been done before, so you get to do it, you know?
Yeah.
Being innovative, you know what I'm saying? So like with the outside cinema thing, that's just pretty much you taking what's going on and adapting, you know what I'm saying? Knowing how to turn shit to sugar, so.
Yeah, and my thing is, I know how to make money in events, so how do I get back to that, you know?
Yeah. Was it that kind of tying into, you know, you being able to turn shit to sugar? Is it something that, you know, when you were a child, something in your upbringing that you went through that you were like, man, like I've been through something, you know, so difficult before that nothing can stop me now? Like where did this, you know, like you just got the goal. It seems like nothing can stop you. It had to come from somewhere.
Yeah. You know, my mom's always given me a lot of like confidence for sure.
Okay.
Regardless of our situation. So I think she definitely, while she maybe couldn't support all my ambitions, she let me have them, you know?
Okay.
And so when you're in a situation, you really don't have any, I think it comes from being in a situation where I've had nothing to lose before.
Gotcha.
You know, it's that feeling of like, well, I have nothing to lose. Like, so now I have everything to lose, but I still.
Gotcha. Now I see you got the Follow Your Dreams scholarship, and y'all raised $10,000. I've seen, you know, the last time I've seen you post about that. What is it that made you call it scholarship, the Follow Your Dream scholarship, as contrary to the model experience?
I forgot about that. That's amazing that we did that. So I won a scholarship in, I want to say like high school, my senior year, that I was able to receive my freshman year of college. And it was just $500, but it was cash. And I was able like to get not ahead, but like to where I needed to be.
Yeah.
So where I wasn't losing time in class and assignments because I was worried about like not having money for gas. Like that shit is distracting when you're just trying to fucking eat. It's like your mind's not in class, you're not there, you know?
Right.
So that $500 like changed my fucking life, you know? Like at that time, I just being able to get to where I needed to be, and then now I could focus, and now I could, you know, get to that next level. So financially, I was in a position where I just felt like God was telling me, you know, give back, and that's what I love doing anyway. And I had this like number in I started with like doing one. So every fashion show we'll give away $1,000. You know, we'll put out this scholarship thing where kids can apply. Here are the stipulations, da da da. And then the next show rolled around, and I was like, man, I want to do 3. Fuck 1. Let's do 3. And let me see who I can get to match me. So I start calling everyone that I know with money, and I'm like, hey, you have money, right? Right? That's another thing. You tell people when you ask them, you tell them, right?
Right. Instead of just asking.
That's real subtle.
Make them know, like, no, I know you do.
But
yeah.
Right.
Right.
Yeah, I remember I learned that one time selling cars. It was the manager was like, look, everything we ask them, we just nod our head like this. Yes. They just gonna start saying yes. They're already getting in that habit. So
selling you a car and you didn't know it.
Yes. What inspired you to put out the Posing one-on-one book? I mean, because you have a lot of times people would just do like a master class or just maybe one post on social media or something on YouTube. Like, what is it that made you feel like, okay, this is some literature that I need to put in like a book for people, you know what I'm saying, to go sit with this type of content?
Well, for me, it was having some variety to offer as a business,
Okay.
and also just adding value to like us as a business. And even me, like now I'm an author, so that gives me credibility to coach more people, for example. But really, it's the credibility behind having a book that kind of attracted me to that. And that was all my business coach. He's got a couple books too, but that, you know, that kind of puts you in the field of being an expert.
Gotcha. That's what's up. That's what's up. You get a lot of people, they tell me that, man, somebody told me I should write a book. And I'm like, why haven't you? But I guess they need that business coach. You know, I'm going to start suggesting that to people.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Yeah.
With, you said his name was Chris Collins, was your business coach, right?
Yeah.
How did you even know that was a thing? Was it because you seen him working with somebody else? And
I really didn't. I heard it come out of his mouth, and I saw him. Actually, he started a podcast. He started a podcast called Business Outlaws with this guy, Big Mike, who's the only billionaire I know. And I don't really know him where I'm like hanging out with him, but I've been in rooms with him, whatever. Mm-hmm. And something new, advanced nutrients. So he owns the nutrients that go in like wheat, basically, like the soil.
I got you.
That's one of his companies. So them two, again, super successful, super on their shit. They started a podcast called Business Outlaws. And I was just like learning so much from it. So I would just, keep kind of poking at him. And then from there, I think they were promoting the business coaching, and that's kind of how I got tapped in.
That's what's up.
So with everything you have done, is there anything coming up next for you? Like, is there some stuff that people just don't know about and you're like, I'm about to turn it up, I'm about to go to a different level? What's going on with that? Do you got
within the next 5 years, I'll definitely be into real estate development.
So yeah.
I'm not there yet. I will be, but that's definitely like, I feel like long term, I definitely see myself in real estate.
Yeah. That's awesome.
So we're doing, okay, so now it'll be the modeling, the model experience, you know what I'm saying? You're an author. I know you have other ventures. When is it that you know that, okay, I have this, I guess, somewhat autopilot enough, or, I got this down pat to where I can go ahead and add on another venture, or either I can go in a different direction? Like, when do you know, what I'm saying, it's safe to go ahead and go a different direction and add something on?
That's a good question. Well, like, for example, the model experience is like basically on hold right now because we can't do a fashion show until we're like, it hasn't made sense yet. So that gives me a lot of time and mind space to go work on something else. Yeah. I'm maxed at like 3 projects. There's no way I could do more than 3 projects. I don't know how someone else could. 2's like nice.
Yeah.
Gotcha. Once it gets to 3, it's like, no, we're good.
Yeah. You're spread too thin. You're not even, you're not even there.
Mm-hmm. So do you think with the coronavirus coming in, like, things are, with what you're used to doing is just not in demand right now? And do you think at all, like, did it help you to reset a little bit? Maybe did you think like, you know what, but I needed a reset for real. Like, I needed some time to myself. So this is like a blessing. I like
it for sure. So I definitely am now appreciating like the break off. Being able to kind of start from scratch is nice because now I get to set a foundation that like I maybe didn't have for the other business, with even just simple things like, QuickBooks and taxes and things that I didn't set up initially with those other businesses that I had to go back and fix. So now I'm like, okay, I get to do it right.
Okay, yeah.
So everything was able to get that tune up, get fine tuned the way it needed to. With Fuse It Worldwide, right? That's something that you were involved with before, and it seems like y'all cross paths with everyone from, God Breasted Kobe Bryant all the way down to the Kardashians, Freddie Gibbs, people in all different types of fields. Was that something that you just dropped off and then moved on to the model experience, or because I noticed it seems like that's not something we're seeing. Like
yeah, I was doing that with my ex-boyfriend.
Oh,
so
gotcha.
Had to go.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, it is what it is.
That was my little jump off in terms of like connecting with celebrities. It was having that media outlet platform, and just by again being ambitious and consistent, I was able to get us to a bunch of cool events, in with a bunch of dope people. At some point we were even like being paparazzi, like I won't say the name, but somebody's bodyguard was calling us like, hey, we're here. And we had an agency that was paying us for the photos. That was
Is that where I seen you interviewed Tupac's brother one time? I think his name is Mopreme Shakur, and it was like his 39th birthday, posthumous birthday. Did you host that, or were you just there as press? Like how did that end up happening? Because a lot of people would love to just be there at something like that.
Yeah, it was a press thing, how I got us in, but not to that event, to an event before. So his wife, I believe they're still married. His wife is a publicist. She was a publicist for like VSOP.
Okay.
And they had an event, and then we linked there, and then they invited me and my camera guy to that next event, because everyone likes a camera around,
Gotcha.
Like, who doesn't want a free shooter, basically, to walk around with them and get footage of their event?
Right.
Gotcha. You're like a networking guru.
Right.
Man. Like, I feel like people should almost like pay you to learn how to network.
Yeah.
Cash App is, I'm just kidding.
It's in the link below. For real. I agree.
It's funny, like I forget about a lot of this stuff because I'm so like wrapped up in the future and the next move, but it's kind of nice to like sit down and like, oh yeah, we did give away 10 grand to 10 different students.
Yeah.
So thank you.
You got to get these flowers while you can smell them.
For sure.
Yeah. You went to FITM Fashion Institute in LA. What is it about that particular fashion institute that made you go there instead of anywhere else that you could have went? You know what I'm saying, in LA?
The truth again.
Another truth.
I didn't take my SATs, and that was like the only college I got into. And so my mom was like, fashion college? I was like, yeah, but they have a business thing and da-da-da. I got approved. It all worked out. And I was like, all right, let's go. I'm going to downtown.
That's what's up. So, I mean, faith is huge with you. It seems like you just take the next step and just trust that the other step is going to be there. It seems like with you.
For sure. I definitely have a strong relationship with God, and I feel like that's definitely the only way that I've been able to kind of do all this.
Right. For sure.
Was it like that?
When we think about half the stuff we've been through, we know we ain't have nothing to do with it. Like, I don't even know how I got through that. It had to be God. I knew that.
Sometimes it's like divine timing, where it's just like just beyond my like comprehension. Like, for example, Slick Woods. My team and I had been wanting Slick Woods to be in our show, and even if it wasn't on the runway, I was like, I want her front row. I love her look. Like, I want her next to our brand. And so we had like reached out a little bit. It didn't really work out. We didn't get that much traction, whatever. Literally, she just popped up at our show. Just shows up out of nowhere. My assistant is like, Slick is here. Did you book her? And I was like, no, are you kidding me? And she's like, yeah, she's here with Sean and da-da-da-da. And I was like, what the fuck? Literally walked backstage and she's there. I was like, dude, we literally like manifested this shit. This shit is crazy.
Man, you just gave me chills. I love stories like that. You have no choice but to believe in the higher power. You're like, man, ain't no way.
Like, what? woods. Oh my God.
That's awesome.
Yeah, so exactly. So I see that you're part of the acting experience, and with that, it's everyone from Lena Waithe to Meagan Good. How did that come together, and how were you able to establish those relationships to put something of that magnitude together?
First
And
of
what
all,
is that?
shout out to my whole acting experience team. I have to shed light on them and kind of praise them because that's really how I'm able to connect with Lena and all those other people is through my business partners. They're kind of heavy hitters in the industry, and so they've got tons of relationships from way back when with a lot of actors, especially in the Black community. So that's been a huge blessing. The alignment on that was really God sent, but again, that was like a strategic networking thing on my part that I had been chipping away at. That seed I planted like 8 to 10 years ago.
Huh.
There's a guy that my team was working with, and he was on Glee. And when I was doing fashion shows, I was just like, we need to get any and every celebrity through here that we can.
Okay.
But we also need a cool host. Maybe the guy from Glee can host our show. So bring him in, he hosts a show. Come to find out, he's Meagan Good's cousin. So I'm like, man, maybe one day she'll come to a show. That's a long shot. It never happened at that time. Then later, I ended up meeting Megan's sister, Dijon's cousin, on set at an Adrienne Bailon shoot. My camera guy, the Kevin Hart guy, had invited me to set. It was just like, hey, come check it out. Some people here I want you to meet. So I go over and I connected with Lamaya, who was producing that shoot, and was like, hey, I really need a producer for my show. So basically I ended up hiring them both at one point, realized they're cousins, and then fast forward, they were working like every show with me. So Dijon was hosting the model experience and Lamaya was working backstage. So it was like full family affair. And then at some point I was like, hey, you guys are big in the acting world. Now Dijon's on like Netflix. He's got all these movies and shows and stuff that he's in. So pretty much presented Lamaya with the idea of like, hey, we need to do the acting experience. It's a natural progression for models to get into acting. So, there's something here. You have all the relationships, like, let's come together. So we basically partnered, and then COVID hit. And then we were like shit out of luck because our concept was all in person. We were going to do in-person workshops, a few different coaching things, but everything was going to be in person. So we just kind of like hit a wall. And then we kind of like came together, bounced back, and decided to do this online coaching situation and tie that in with a subscription. So subscriptions are a really nice move business-wise because it's better. You can plan it monthly. I mean, it's not like passive income, but I don't know how to explain it, but it's a lot better to plan your flow out that way. So through the subscription and connecting with some of these celebrities, it's been a success. We're definitely still growing and we have a lot of growth to do, but I attribute a lot of those relationships to my partners.
Okay. If you wouldn't mind, kind of simplify both the model experience and the acting experience as far as what people get out of it and differentiate the two. Say, for example, if someone that just came to LA, or even if they're not in LA, because it seems like now you're doing things digitally, just kind of simplify exactly what they get out of those two.
So for the acting experience, you basically get a coaching session. It's basically an acting room or an acting class. And so every class is kind of tailored to different techniques. We have one that's like intro to actors. So that's for people that are kind of just getting started. We have a more like expert level for people that are a little bit, more seasoned. And then we have, a couple other like things that we're doing. So you can kind of come in, pick where you want to be, kind kind of jump on board. And we have like those special guests come through that you've seen, you know, the Devon Franklins, the Meagan Goods, the Lena Waithes. So aside from it just like you're learning, it's also, you kind of get to network too, you know, and it's like you're in a room with these people digitally and virtual.
Right.
Gotcha.
Like, you know, if Megan's in a class and you're reading, you might be able to get some feedback from her, you know.
Right.
I see. Helping people connect the dots just like you did.
Yes. So that's the acting experience platform. And once things open back up, we'd like to be able to do, you know, more events. But that's kind of where we're at right now. With the model experience, it was basically like a 2 or 3 day kind of course. So day 1, you would come in for a photo shoot. Day 2, you would come in for model coaching. So we have, you know, runway coaches from America's Next Top Model. They come, they show you what to do. And then the last day you get to walk in a fashion show. So it was like a 3-day experience for models.
Man, so it's almost like I envision the way you have that all broken down. Like if there's a billboard that just says, want to be an actor, want to be a model. It's like somebody can just click on your link and it's just kind of going to take them and hold their hand through it.
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying? That's good. See, people need something.
It's not like a roadmap for those industries. You know, that's kind of what we're trying to do. So, yeah.
So I see you put one time it take 100 people to put a show together. One time. So with that, I'm pretty sure with COVID now, it doesn't take as many people to do these digital shows when it comes to the acting experience. And then now you're pivoting to the outside cinema. How is that going to work? Is outside cinema going to be like, I can just pretty much pull up and watch a movie, or is it like I got to have like a subscription? Like how would you structure that for people to attend?
Yeah. Well, first of all, 100 people. Yeah. You reminded me that's crazy. That's a lot of employees. That's a lot of overhead. That was insane. But between like makeup artists, backstage, builders that put the stage together, it was a lot. And feeding 100 people for 3 days for 2 meals each day.
Whew.
You know, so
don't let them be a vegan like me and Toya.
Forget that. I got 4 kids, and I think it's stressful. You talking about 100?
And she's talking about grown people too.
Right. Oh, no.
So the luxury of being able to do the digital and virtual thing is kind of nice too, you know, not having all that liability or overhead or.
Right. You eat at home now. No.
Thanks.
But with the cinema, basically we ask everyone to buy their ticket online. A lot of the places that aren't doing that end up with like 3-hour waits, and then you don't know if you're going to get in because who knows what the line looks like. So we're doing everything online and ticketed. So you buy a ticket, and then we also teamed up with some really awesome food trucks and restaurants, all minority owned, all businesses of color. So we have like a menu that we curated with like everything from veggie nachos to chicken wings to gourmet donuts and kind of like all the munchies that you need to watch a movie.
And where is this again? Where's
in LA? Downtown
in LA? Mm-hmm. Oh yeah.
See, this is be something good for people because like a lot of people are struggling with what they call cabin fever right now, like just sitting in the house. Like it's literally like taking its toll on people because they can't go out and do something. That's gonna help out a lot, especially in LA.
Yeah.
I know y'all probably used to always having something to do out there compared to every other city in the country.
And people are going crazy. People are driving their Rolls Royces to go get takeout. It's like
because they want to go somewhere.
It's just getting out of hand here.
So how do you unplug with all this that you do, right? How do you unplug and like decompress?
I smoke weed. I work out.
Right.
I hang out with my family.
Mm-hmm.
I like the water. I realize that gives me so much like calmness.
Mm-hmm.
Also, I started taking these natural like herbal pills for stress, and they really helped me.
Oh, nice.
Okay.
Yeah. So it's like it's definitely a constant battle, and I'm always looking for ways to unwind and be healthy about it. because, you know, it's easy to unwind with a drink every night, and next thing you know, you're having a drink every night, which is like,
exactly.
especially with Corona, I think at first maybe a lot of people just, at least like me and my little circle, I noticed that we were like, you know, maybe just drinking more because you're home, you're like, what the fuck am I gonna do? So I was like,
definitely in my circle. We're like, wait, like it just caught up to us like, are we tired of this shit? Yeah, okay, don't come by for 2 weeks.
Yeah.
Like, I got a detox at this point.
we had a comedian on here, Stephanie Tejada. She was saying that she actually, you know, she had a drinking problem at one time because she was like working at a club, and she says literally just working there and drinking every night, a part of the job, is just how that came on. It's like she didn't even realize that it was happening.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? How do you not get caught up in, you know, because everybody feels like you go to LA, you know what I'm saying, you're gonna end up just, you know, automatically you're gonna either be a drunk, cokehead, anything like that. How is it that you resist the natural temptation of Hollywood, or the perception of Hollywood from afar?
I think that battle exists anytime you're in kind of, I mean, not my group. My friend group isn't like that. You know, my friend group, they like to party responsibly, but you know, it's like when the nightlife was a thing, you're hanging out with people that are your friends' friends, or that, you know, so in being around popular people, celebrities, there's a lot of that territory around. So how do you not get caught up? I think you just have, I have just had to check myself, honestly. I've totally had to check myself, like with even the drinking thing, because, you know, doing events, it's like a lot of producers fall into the habit of having a drink on set because you're hosting Hennessy, they sponsored you, they gave you a bunch of money, you're you know, it's so casual. It's like, it's not really shunned upon.
Gotcha.
When like you shouldn't be drinking when you're working.
Gotcha.
So I've just had to check myself. It's an ongoing thing. But yeah, it's definitely a challenge of like being in LA, you know.
Gotcha.
So with you, you know, work isn't as heavy as it was, and we talked before about how you date me, you date the business. I'm just curious to know a little bit more, like, where are you with your love life at this point? You know what I mean? Have a breather and just talk about you and how you feel. Just, you know what I mean? Because I know for you, it's like work, you know what I mean? So like, I'm just like, okay, well, let's talk about something else. Let's gossip.
That I felt strongly about, and I like expressed that the feeling wasn't mutual. So I had to like back up because man, I can't chip away my time, my energy into this, and there's, you know, it's not reciprocated. So
for sure,
I just kind of just took a pause because that one hurt a little bit. So I kind of had to like fall back in love with myself.
Yeah.
So that's where I'm at right now. Like I feel good about myself, and I don't like to like, I feel like when I seek it, it comes off a little desperate. So I try to just fall back and like open to situations. I hopped on Hinge once or twice to check it out, you know?
Right. But at least you know, like, okay, I am this type of person. I'm busy. I'm a businesswoman. But if I do find somebody, because you experienced it already, and they do give me that back, I will make time for that. And I have the ability to do that in me, because some people don't. Some people ain't going, they don't care if you fall in love with them and all, you know what I mean? They're like, no, you know what I mean? And then, but it's crazy too, but when you go through that too, I know for myself, I've been through that, and I kind of like you more, and then I go in beast mode. I'm like, see, that's why I'm business first. That's why I'm fuck with you now.
Every time I've had a breakup, I've had a really good like jump up on the work side, and this time it's the cinema thing, so I'm like, I accept it. Maybe I needed to go through that. I don't know.
Yeah. I understand that.
Oh, your girl is single.
Right.
Oh, gotcha. She's taking applications. She's taking applications right now.
Facts.
Like did you grow up in LA or did you move there?
I grew up in LA, born and raised, and I think that also kind of gives me a leg up because a lot of people move out here with like no family, you know, just a hope and a dream, which I totally fucking commend. But I, you know, have my backbone here, and Hollywood was like my playground growing up, so I maybe got over it. You know, I'm not really into the club thing anymore. You really got to.
That's like me being from Florida, where like, you know, people that are not from Florida, they're like, oh my God, you moved from the beaches and how did you leave? I'm like, man, I don't give a damn about that shit. Like, like, 'cause I moved to Georgia and it's completely, obviously, all I have is trees now, you know what I'm saying? And I think even in that world of whether, like he asked about the drug issue and all that, you grew up there, it's like, oh, I'm used to this shit. That's for somebody that's new to it, maybe, you know what I mean? And don't know how to handle this type of life over here. Like, man, I've been seeing this. Like,
we'll get eaten up alive.
For sure.
People come out here, they're so vulnerable. That's what's fucked up, is they get taken advantage of because they're vulnerable and they wanna get to this level. You know, I've seen it a lot, especially with the modeling industry. But because I'm a female and I'm like maybe looking out for them, I think that's why we did really well, honestly, because there was no like sham about it. There was nothing sketchy about it. When you think of modeling, there's some idea of like sketchy, you know, like weird photographer, scam, like something. Like I feel like a lot of people have a bad taste about that. So I think because our approach was a lot more like family trust, that it worked.
Well, and definitely continue to grow. You know what I mean? Like those type of people exist and those situations exist, but I mean, eventually that shit gets torn down, you know what I mean? People are not going to want to fuck with you after, you know, so long. So I could see that.
So how did you advise models that maybe were coming through the model experience, right? And maybe they had like celebrity crushes and things like that. Like, how do you advise them because I've seen some of the people that were going through the model experience, they were in videos with the Migos, Khaled, and of course Khaled had some of, you know, the biggest who's in the industry on his video sets, YG, everything like that. How do you advise them to handle that when they have the celebrity crushes, to make sure that they stay focused and not fall into that trap?
Well, that's a good question. You know, I've learned that I can only advise, but at the end of the day, everyone's going to do what they want to do. But I think the longevity comes when you're taken seriously. Right. And it's just navigating how to maybe still, okay, how do I approach this person, or how do I do this and still be taken seriously? I think that's, there is like a happy medium, you know, because it's like, I want you to do you. And if I don't want to stop you from meeting your next boo, like, right, but you're working, there's that. Don't be like maybe do it after when you clock out.
It's okay to bag, but still get your bag. Yes.
You know, be subtle, be professional, but I can only advise so much. I can't, when I tell girls like don't, they do it. So
for sure. Yeah, she just hating on me, like.
Oh my God.
Okay.
So you're not against it completely, like even personally, like you're not against that completely, but maybe you feel as if it's always a way to do everything. Do you look at it like that, or you get against that, like, you know, personally for yourself, like that don't mix?
You know, it's funny, like there's a model that I'm really good friends with, and there's certain like relationships I have that she'll be like, oh yeah, he tried to like, and I'm like, oh no, he's off limits because of the work relationship, right?
Yes.
Like, no, like that's, yeah, you can't fuck that up for me, you know?
Right. You better meet him at Chuck E. Cheese, bitch. And don't ever tell me about it.
Oh my God.
Something like that that's like very like, like detriment, like a relationship that's really, really important to me, then I get like really protective. But if it's like a musician that I have no relationship with, that's like, you know, they didn't hire me anyways, the agency did, you know, not to just blow it off, but like, I have bigger fish to fry, you know, than worrying about who's hooking up with who. It's like,
yeah, for sure.
Now I seen. I wanted to ask you about. I seen the model experience was on the Vice network.
yeah.
How did that end up happening? Was it something where they reached out to you, reached out to them? How did you connect those dots?
Yeah. I honestly, I feel like visualization and manifestation are like kind of like the Instagram effect, where you like maybe start talking about spring water, and then all you get is spring water ads, or you talk about, and all you get is massage ads. So like I'd really been putting out there, man, I want a TV show. I want a TV show. For me, I wanted our own TV show, but this was just kind of like, again, the 10X thing, you know?
Okay.
Yeah.
So I had filmed a couple things. I was conceptualizing. I was talking to a few like people, and I had just kind of kept this like wave of like, we're TV show, TV show, TV show. And then I got an email from them right before Corona. This was, our show happened like 1 week before everything got shut down. And they hit me up. They're like, hey, we're interested in profiling you. Here's the detail. We're coming from New York. And it took so much back and forth, but they just reached out to us.
Wow. Right. That's clutch. That's clutch. Yeah. See, I like the way you did that, because that helps me explain visualization to people who I know who may think that it's all like mumbo jumbo, or, you know, they think it's weird, because it's like, well, look at how when we talk about something and the speakers on our phones are picking it up, and then we're seeing it on the timeline. It's the same thing. You can talk to God or the universe or whatever, and then you're going to see it show up.
I mean, it's like when you buy a new car and you start seeing our car everywhere. You know what I mean? It's like, how does that even happen? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah. Your third eye opens up a little bit.
Facts. Facts. We can tell you somebody who your third eye's wide open. Definitely.
Right.
Well, we definitely appreciate you taking the time out and sitting with us and just sharing.
Thank you, Guru.
To be on your show, honestly. If there's anything else I can do for you guys, let me know. And thank you.
Gotcha. But there is something you can do for us. We end every show with people. You know how they say you're some of the 5 people that you're around the most, right? So if you wouldn't mind, shout out the 5 people that you are around or you communicate with the most, that tied to the reflection of what we see with you.
Okay, for sure. I love it. So shout out to my 5 people. So we'll start with Erica Dickerson, another seed that I planted a really long time ago. And I've just met this dope chick and was like, man, I want you in my circle. Like you got your head on straight. You're in the industry I'm in, X, Y, and Z. So fast forward, she's my girl, and we talk a lot about work and just kind of consult with each other like every other day. So Erica Dickerson is one. Second one, not in any order, would be Nisha SB. She just is one of my girls, and she just started her own bakery. So I've been kind of helping her and coaching her, trying to get her going. Then I would say my girl, Rio Summers, who did the model experience with me. And so she's been just kind of like my road dog through everything. She's part of that.
Y'all met on the set of America's Next Top Model, right?
Uh-huh.
Got you. So what did you do with that? I'm so sorry. I'm sneaking in a question.
Oh, you're fine. I was working with a boutique at the time. I was doing my fashion shows at this location. Uh-huh. And then the location hit me up and said, hey, ANTM wants to shoot a show here. They saw your photos on our site or something. Could you be the liaison? Because we're not from this world and we want you to like handle it because we're not in like production. So I was their liaison, and then the relationship just kind of grew with that.
God, be looking out for you.
I know, honestly, thank God. Okay, so we got Rio, we got Erica, we got Nisha, and then next I would say my business partner, Lamaya, and my other business partner, Dejan, in the acting experience. I would say I'm in communication with those 5 the most.
All right.
That's what's up.
That's what's up. Pretty sure they'll appreciate you showing your appreciation to them. You can end it. Just shout out whatever hashtags, @signs, websites.
You guys are like super prepared. You guys had all your questions. Like, you know, I was like, man, they really like, what's that, Nardwar? You guys Nardwar?
Yes, I'm a big fan of him. Yeah, that's what's up. Where can people buy your book at, and where can they spend money with you with your acting experience? Where can they put money towards everything you got going on? Because obviously you can see you're good for it.
Come and support us at The Acting Experience, theactingexperience.com. That's if you're looking to break into the acting industry. Definitely come check us out. And then the next thing that I would like to promote is my new baby, Outside Cinemas. If you're in LA, come check us out, outsidecinemas.com. And check me out on IG at Ashley Runway.
Awesome. Thank you so much.
Thank you, guys.
So pretty lies.